What it do, what it is, y'all? It's your girl, Black Pop, aka Soda Baby, aka Asuka. And you know, until then, Soda Talks TV. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below. And for today's show, we're going to be talking about accepting the unacceptable. AKA when your man loves you but still wants to sleep with other women. Before we get into our official topic, I want to talk about a post that I found online. And it says, via It's On Site, 30 bodies is not a lot. Y'all need to stop. And y'all do. You know, if you're closer to 30, mid-20s, it's nothing wrong. I don't think 30 bodies there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like it's very normal to be in the double digits anyways if you're closer to 30. It's nothing wrong going 30 for 30. And really, in my personal opinion, people don't care about how many women men have slept with, because that's their free pass. Like, no one cares about that. They care about how many bodies women have. And y'all the ones doing the so, hey, I don't feel like 30 bodies is a lot. But I feel like there comes a time where you have to, like, eventually figure out what your body really means to you after you've learned a few tricks and splits and, you know, things like that. So, yeah. Next topic I never touched on. Roe versus Wade. Okay. So, right. This is the thing. I'm always for the people to have their freedom, simply because, you know, you should. And I wouldn't want nobody policing my body either. But there comes a time in life where someone has to scare y'all out straight. And I'm kind of glad that they did it, because you're going to think twice before you start sleeping around with anyone. You're going to think twice on who you're entertaining, because there's a possibility that you have to go through with a pregnancy because you didn't want to, you know, take any precautions, wrap it up. And, you know, plan B is cool, but who knows what after effects that has on you by how many times you take that too. You know, your body, your choice, but you can't tell Americans like, you know, yeah, that's how I feel about that. I don't want to get too deep into that because I feel like my Republican side might show. So let's move on. For the record, I am not a Republican, but what I'm saying is I'm not afraid to look at the side of life that makes me uncomfortable, that makes me insecure. And for me, the best way for me to get over it is to understand it. And from understanding, I can make peace with its existence, because it's here for a reason. And I feel like this is a perfect segue into what I'm talking about, because a lot of us think that we're special, especially women. A lot of us think that we can be cut from a different cloth than other humans. And that perspective can limit you as an individual. And it can stunt your perspective on reality, because we feel like because someone can show us a certain level of commitment that they would never remind themselves of the freedom that they have as an individual through others, literally. And I feel like a lot of the time, people who have significant others sleep with other people because they want to be reminded of that freedom. And a lot of us on this internet like to talk our and give advice and take advice because it would never be our man. And we know how to prevent it, when in fact, it's every man. And I would love to be in a monogamous relationship because it sounds nice. It sounds like I should be the only girl that he has eyes for, the only girl he would ever sleep with and be attracted to after certain commitments. But That's just not real life. As much as it sounds right, it just isn't, you know. Like, there's something to say about the fact that, you know, the divorce rates are higher than the marriage rates anyway. You know, it sounds logical. It makes sense to get married before having kids, but there's more people having kids out of wedlock before getting married anyway. So what truth does that speak to? You know, it's just the fact that this is just who we are as humans. And no matter, sometimes you just can't fight nature, you know. And even doing what I do, having too much of a fixed perspective on certain thing doesn't help y'all, because it limits y'all as well, whoever is listening to me. Because a lot of the times people will try to make you believe what they believe out of their own insecurity, and insecurity is only out to make oneself look better at all costs. And it's good for the ego, but it still limits you, because a lot of the time the people that we love, we forget that they're regular people. The people that we look up to, we put on a pedestal, are regular people. And the most confident people are not afraid of being hurt, are okay with looking hurt, because it is humbling and it gives you another perspective when you thought you did it right, you did all the steps, and you were still wrong. Like, have you ever had those moments when it's like you did it all right, and it's like you thought you were on, or even if you thought you were on this path and it was just so you, and then you look back years later like, damn, what the was I on? Like, that perspective can be scary and kind of embarrassing, because it's like when you finally come out of it, it's like, damn, how crazy did I look? And was everyone seeing what I wasn't seeing? You know, and guys, we just have to really just accept that heartbreak is inevitable. There's always something going on in relationships, no matter what your preference is, no matter how many times you see your therapist a week, it's something going on. You know, you're going to have your cycles of peace, but sometimes things just don't pan out the way you want them to. And the last thing I would want anyone to do is beat themselves up about it, or talk down on themselves, or hate themselves, because guys, we really need to understand and accept that dating someone is to consider the psychology that they have, and understand that you're dealing with their traumas and their insecurities. And the best way to understand people is to go with the flow and accept the unacceptable about them. And this is why I feel like it's very important to remind you all that I struggle with applying this too. Like, this is the only way I know this, through the failure. And I struggle with pulling back too. You know, I get over emotional. I am needy. I do need attention. And there's sometimes I'm longing to finally be able to be vulnerable in a way with a man, but because of the pain that people go through, they can close off that pleasure, and that love and sweetness and attention and affection can be too much for them. And as a woman, it's very tricky to date as a woman, because everyone's always telling you how beautiful you are and complimenting you and, you know, giving you attention, because you see Michael hitting you up, Jacob hitting you up, Kels hitting you up, BJ hitting you up. They're all giving you attention and telling you this, and that, telling you whatever. And you give them a chance, you all, and they all leave. And this is why it's important to know where you're at, because you're able to have compassion for yourself when you don't meet your expectations. Sometimes we want things to be different, but they just can't. And we have to have compassion for the fact that we can't accept the unacceptable. And I just might not ever get married. but I just might. But I also, and if I do, I'm going to have to stomach the fact that it is 100% possible that I just might catch my husband in bed with another woman in our home. You know, I would hope that he would have more respect for me to ever do that. But with the things that I know, I won't be going to jail for life that day. And a lot of dealing with people is about putting yourself in a position to get hurt. Not because you don't care about yourself, but because you know you can handle the pain. And also, sometimes some people are just that amazing, you know? Some people are just that good of a catch, and they speak your language, and it's hard to let go of them because they're good people. And you have to accept the fact that there is someone or multiple people out there that see that same person the same way you see them. And a lot of our relationships require us to look ourselves in the mirror and humble ourselves and accept the fact that you are needy. You do need attention. You do need affection. You do crave that vulnerability with someone. And unfortunately, when you see yourself a certain way, your ego won't let you admit that you need that. And your ego won't let you admit that you're hurt. But that's how you grow. Being honest with yourself is the main key factor in accepting the flaws about yourself that you can't accept, and in others as well. Because I have to admit that the person I portray myself on YouTube is not who I always am, because I have my insecurities and everyone's not gonna like me. And you can't enjoy the process of getting to know someone without getting hurt. Because the more you're open to pain, the more you are open to pleasure. And the more you close off pain, the more you close off pleasure. And the growth and evolving is in accepting those negative moments that life brings you the same way that you accept the positive. And life really is not about the highs. It's mostly about the lows and the beingness of it and going with the flow. And there's people out there that are willing to do the things that we would never be willing to do. And they exist just for that reason. And there's a world out there that we don't want to see, that we don't want to admit exists. And that world is being examined in the forefront today. And that world is the underworld. And the face of the underworld is side chicks, is hoes. Hoes are the voice of the underworld, while the men that speak against them are their number one consumers. And we're just going to have to admit that they're a part of the conversation, whether you're single or married, simply because it's a line of work. And you never hear about a woman taking a man against his own will for him to sleep with her. It's always the other way around. And it may have happened, may not, but the strongest reality always wins. And I really wanted to dissect why Eli, because they really got into some good topics, but we're going to have to save that for another day because it's 5 a.m. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I got to edit this video. But, you know, everything I spoke about really was about how to handle those situations of finding out that, you know, you aren't everything to your man. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that. And there's nothing wrong with accepting that. You know, I hope I'm not ending with such a jab, but yeah, that's what this video was pretty much about. And yeah, let me know what you think about this topic. I hope it wasn't too harsh and blunt. But yeah, we're gonna get into the why Eli in a few days from now, and I need to get some rest and edit this video. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at It's Black Pop. Soda Talks TV, my backup page. And we'll get into the next video.